So before we start this week's lesson, I just want to show you something really quickly, because otherwise you're going to be wondering why I have something different with some of my nodes. So I like to kind of customize everything just to save me some time. Okay, so I'm going to bring here a GeoNode, then put here a cache, or a file cache sub. As you can see, it's already changed. I already changed the default color. So to do this, plus some other things, I'm gonna right click on it and choose allow editing of contents. Okay, so it's in OTL, so I'm just gonna edit it. And now I'm gonna right click again and go on the type properties. Okay, so there's a few things I want to change. So first, load from disk. I want this one to be turned on by default, because what it does, if I dive in, it just here on that switch. Okay, it's just going to be 0 or 1. So 0 being it's going to load straight in the geo coming in. Okay, it's not going to read the cache, and if I put it to 1, it's going to read the cache I saved out. So why I want it to be at 1, so turned on by default, it's imagine you have a sim coming in and you're like at the end frame. When you plug it in, it's just going to try to cache the entire frame range for you, and you don't want this to happen because it's just going to make you angry when you have to wait to be able to cancel that sim. So this, I want it to be at 1. Other thing I want to change, it's the default value is here for my start and end frames. So if I go down here, so again the defaults are set here on the channel. So instead of 1, I'm gonna put $rf start, and then for the second one I'm gonna put $rf end. So now when I apply, okay, I can see I have my expressions there. So there's another one I'm gonna put in there, as well as the pre-render. But before that, I'm just gonna change here on the loading the missing frame type. I don't want it to be report error, because if you work with render farms, okay, if you're missing some caches, like you don't have any file for that frame, it's just gonna crash your job. You don't want this to happen. Most of the time, if you don't have a file, it just means you don't have any geo coming in. But Houdini is not gonna understand that like this. So when it's set as report error, it's gonna crash a job. So I would say 95% of the time you don't want it to crash a job. So then this, I go down here, I'm gonna go missing frame, and this I'm gonna change this to empty. Okay, so I just clicked on menu to know what key I had to fit in, so it's gonna be empty. Okay, paste that here, apply. So now we see it change the default one to no geometry. And I'm gonna do something else here. So what I'm gonna do here, I'm gonna go on the left side here and click on integer and drag it here, up here, just before the geometry file. Okay, when I apply, we can see this one here. So I'm gonna call this one version. So this one is gonna allow me to just define what version it's gonna be for that cache. So I'm gonna go down here on the range, lock the first value to 1. I don't want it to go lower than 1. And the second one, I'm gonna put it at 20. And then channels, and I'm gonna switch the default value to 1. Okay, apply, that's fine. And now what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna copy an expression. I'm gonna paste it in here. Okay, so I'm gonna show you what that expression does. And I'm gonna paste it straight here on the channel. So this is gonna be now, nope, not here. On the so this was 1 down here, and in that case, yeah, I already set that default, so I don't have to paste again. So let me explain what this one does. So if I made a mouse, you can see I have that weird window shortcuts. Okay, so that doesn't really matter, but basically it brings me to my job folder. So that job folder is being set here on the aliases and variables. So if I click on the variables, I can see job, and I have here a folder set. Same for hip, I have another folder set in there. So basically $job, usually what I define it to, I think, no, let me open just a Windows Explorer to show you this. Okay. So this is, for example, the job for this week. Okay. So Smoke Plum. So in there I have a couple of subfolders. Look, one for the Houdini, one where I'm going to store my renders, one for my new script, and another one where I'm going to set all my Python scripts or whatever the tool I'm going to need for the project. And inside my Houdini folder, I'm going to have a geo folder where I'm going to store my caches, a hip folder where I'm going to be able to put my hip files, OTLs if I need some OTLs to be loaded when I run Houdini for that project, and another one where I can store my Python scripts. Okay, so as I said, this I actually have a tool that does it for me. I do have it open here. So when I need to create a new project, I just create my new project, and then it's gonna put it in here, and I just have to run Houdini from here. Okay, so and this one's gonna set my variables we saw here for me. So that tool, I'm showing it in another course I'm actually currently recording as well. So stay tuned for more information about that course. So it's more course like for Python in Houdini, creating OTLs, coding some plugin with C++ in the HDKs. To be defined when it's going to be released, but yeah, that's one another course that's going to come, and where I showed that small pipeline tool. Okay, so back to my expression. I'm gonna press just here Alt E. It's gonna open a new window. It's just easier to read in here what's going on. Okay, and now I can just move the mouse here to see the result of my expression. So first, like, I'm grabbing my job directory, then I'm gonna go inside my Houdini geo folder. From here, I'm just gonna get my file cache name. Okay, so we can see here file cache 1. So if I would call this, for example, Smoke Plum 01, we can see it just renamed it here to Smoke Plum 01. So I don't have to go there and edit it every single time I make changes. Then second part, we have the V, and then I have another expression calling pad 0. Then I have to say how many numbers I'm gonna have in there, so 3. So then it's gonna add 2 zeros. Okay, grabbing the version, so this it's looking at the value stored inside my parameter version. Then I'm gonna create a new folder. So that was my folder version, and then here I'm setting the name of my files. Okay, so I'm again using my cache file name, the version, plus at the end $f for my frames.bgo, and it gives me that nice result at the end. So now if I change versions, okay, you can see it just updates this on the fly for me. So, and another thing I could do, it's actually to save me even more time, I'm gonna just apply this for now. I'm gonna put in here by default an expression as well that's gonna look for the hip file version. So I'm just gonna save this first as a new hip file. So I'm gonna call this CG Workshop Week 5 file cache, and I'm just gonna give it a version, or I don't need zeros, that's fine, .hip. Okay, so now I have a version at the end. So what I'm going to be able to do, it's to call updigits. Okay, so updigits is an expression that's going to grab the number at the inside that name I'm going to feed in. So it's going to be updigits. Then here I'm going to say I want to have access to $hip name, so that's the name of my hip file. So that's one. Okay, just for test, I'm gonna delete that file later. I'm just gonna save as version 2 to make sure it updates it properly. And did it do it? No. So hold on, up digits. Okay, no, it did. It wasn't just updating it properly for some reason. It's okay, that works. So I'm just gonna copy this, and now I'm gonna set that as a default for my version parameter here, like this. So now it's really gonna look first at my hip file version, okay? Because most of the time you're gonna want it to be matching, and if not, you can just right click on it, delete your channels, or just do Control Shift left click and it deletes it as well. So I'm just gonna override my version 1 because that's what I want to use, and I'm gonna delete that other file later. Okay, so let me double check. Okay, last one here. So we have here a checkbox that creates the missing directories. Okay, so if now I would just cache something, if I try to open this, it's gonna return errors because it's gonna tell me I don't have those caches. So I would have to create all those folders. Okay, and that's something I don't want to have to do. Oh, and actually I just noticed I'm missing an I in there, so I'm gonna update this as well, because otherwise it's gonna save it in the wrong folder. So just back here, just adding a I here, apply. Okay, and now if I, okay, it's still gonna error, so that's fine, but I should be able to go up to GL. Okay, because that's the last folder we have. So this would create all my folders, but it could happen for some reason that on the farm that wouldn't work. So I'm always adding another expression in there, and that expression is there. So this one is going to create the directory, then -p, so that's going to force to create all the folders till the last one. So it's going to go down how do you say that? So yeah, p means make parent directories as necessary. Okay, so it's just gonna create all the missing directories, and if the directory already exists, it's not gonna return an error either. Okay, and now what I'm gonna do, I'm just gonna grab my folder, and it's gonna be this. So like this. Now that if I just press render, okay, I'm gonna get an error because I don't have any inputs, but it did create already for me my folder. Okay, Houdini Geo Smokeplum1 version 1. Okay, perfect. So that works. So I'm just gonna copy this and put this as a default. Okay, so I'm gonna go down here to pre-render script, the second one, the first one being the toggle on the left, and I'm just gonna paste that here, accept. And I think we did everything what had to be done on that node. Okay, so I'm gonna right click, save operator type. I'm gonna delete this one, just bring a new one. And that seems correct. So if I rename it like Smokeplum01, okay, it should, that works. Okay, cool. So now I'm just gonna rename this to a custom file cache. Save my hip file. So I'm gonna give you that hip file as well in case you get some errors. Okay. So that was just a small optimizing of my file cache, because you're going to notice I'm always using that version. So before, you're going to be surprised that you don't have something matching. So now you're going to be able to create your own one.